Good afternoon, everyone. The topic I will be discussing today is films that recognize culture. What is culture? What is Black American film aesthetics? What is a race film? How does Within Our Gates relate to culture? What is a Black exploitation? How does the film Uptight relate to culture? What is Straight Outta Compton about? Who are the significant characters? How does it connect to culture? How is it political? How is it about economics? And what is my perspective? Culture is a theory that involves actions, interactions of a specific group of people, which entails their origins, traditions, ideas, faiths, dialects, and approaches that they share mutually, which distinguishes them collectively within our society. Black American film aesthetics is a terminology that examines distinctive visual and narrative approaches arising from African American perceptions of film. It involves extensive range of cinematic methods, subjects, including range, intense shading, and illumination to establish an attitude and atmosphere, as well as analyzing cultural, political, and economic affairs concerning the Black American experience and ways of life. Race films are movies generated in America during the early 1900s to early 1950s, where the target audience was Black Americans. These films cast Black American actors and actresses. Black American film directors created them. Therefore, these classes of pieces of work illustrated the foundation for people of color's perspective of life from the 1900s to the 1950s. Within Our Gates connects to culture because this narrative is a reaction to the birth of the nation produced by W.D. Griffin in 1915. In contrast, it illustrates the lives of Black Americans from the mistreatment of Jim Crow and the recovery of the Ku Klux Klan, which developed as the New Negro. More of it links to Black American culture surrounding education of children in the South, discrimination towards the biracial society, and the impairments of white supremacist propaganda and executions towards Black Americans. It's a coming of age story that displays the Black Americans as heroes and coming to terms with who they are and accepting they are part of American society. Black exploitation films are a cultural subgenre of the corruption film that developed in America in the 70s, in which Black Americans are the antagonists instead of subordinates, enemies, targets of violence. They target these films to Black American audience. Nonetheless, these films became popular with other audiences due to stereotypes and profitability. Uptight relates to culture because the narrative is about the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is subject to the uprising of the Black Power movement. It displays the Black Americans as intellectuals and warriors in the battle for equality in America. Straight Outta Compton is a narrative about four young Black men who dreamed of succeeding in the rap industry. Eventually, they created the group NWA, which constructed a new segment of rap music called gangster rap, subject to gang life and urban life in Compton, California. The film is a coming of age story that surrounds subject matters of discrimination, gang life, record label disputes, betrayal, and greed. The film focuses on the personal relationships among the characters of Eazy-E, Jerry Heller, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Suge Knight. However, the other characters, MC Ren and DJ Yellow, are supported by the main characters of Eazy-E, Jerry Heller, and Suge Knight. In the film introduction, Eric avoids a sting operation at an illegal drug house. Eventually, Andre persuades him to endorse the record label, which he names Ruthless Records. Andre convinces him to become a rapper, something that he never thought he was able to do because he just wanted to be the manager. And he eventually formulates the group NWA. Jerry is the artist manager who encounters Eric and proposes an artist manager contract. Eventually became the artist manager to Eric, co-owner of Ruthless Records, and presents the gangster rap group with a recording contract with Priority Records. He promotes and oversees their debut album and other projects. Andre is an ambitious young man who knows how to produce musical beats, which contributes to the style of Parliament funk. Unfortunately, he does not have the funds to display his creativity to the world. Therefore, Andre works as a DJ at a nightclub to help out his brother and mother. Eventually, he became a beat maker and a record producer and develops the concept of Boys in the Hood. The song became a success for NWA. Andre contributes to other NWA hits throughout the 80s. Due to the record label disputes, he parts ways with NWA and signs with Death Row Records, where his solo project, The Chronic, became a success with an innovating rapper, Snoop Dogg. O'Shea was an intelligent high school student who dreamed of becoming a lyricist. Eventually, he became a member of NWA. O'Shea was a ghostwriter for various hits while in the group. Due to the contract disputes at Ruthless Records, O'Shea was the only one who did not sign the contract and he left the group. He composed his solo project, America Most Wanted, which was successful. However, O'Shea did not attain any royalties, therefore, he demolished the Priority Records head office. His solo projects became successful and earned royalties. Then O'Shea became a member of the Nation of Islam. and spoke unapologetically to the media about discriminations against Black Americans and the Rodney King assault. Then he became an actor, starred in movies, and co wrote screenplays that became blockbuster hits. Marion was a bodyguard to Bobby Brown. Eventually, he becomes the bodyguard of NWA. Then he became the CEO of Death Row Records, where he contracts Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, DOC, and Tupac. The film relates to culture by illustrating narratives about gang life and urban life in Compton, California during the 80s and 90s through music. The film is political because it presents awareness of the subject matters in the 80s and 90s of racism, discrimination, police brutality, contract fraud, the fight for equality, and the horrors of the AIDS virus. The film is based on economics because Eric and Jerry focus on how much money the group could make for them instead of focusing on their worth. Marion and Eric were so caught up in wealth that both were more concerned about themselves than their artists. Jerry only cared about O'Shea to continue ghostwriting for the group to make him wealthy. Overall, the film presented an excellent depiction of NWA. However, the movie objectified gang life, women, and greed. The film was controversial because it gave aspects of the group members that the world did not know about. Filmmakers should continue to produce films about music artists because it enables music artists to tell their narratives to the world.